Welcome to Trading Capital's exclusive analysis. In today's video, we're discussing natural gas. Jumping into the daily chart of Nat Gas, it has been nothing short of an extraordinary rally to the upside in Nat Gas. Really, if you look at the weekly chart, since you've had this weekly chart breakout from that 198 level, Nat Gas has surged to extremes here, pushing up in 4 weeks over 52% at the highs here is an extraordinary move. And one we have to question, is it sustainable? Everyone here, I think, is trying to make money in this asset class. We have been bullish on Nat Gas, giving you upside price targets of $3.50, $4 by the year of end. But even I'm astonished at how fast this has moved. We have been preaching on this channel. We actually made a lot of money. I hope we've actually positioned a lot of people on the bullish side of Nat Gas because we surely created and caught a whole host of this upside move. However, I'm now being burned on the short side. Full disclosure, I've taken shorts on Nat Gas and it's starting to squeeze me. I did not expect an impulse candle here to the upside of about 6.23%. Although I did make a lot of money here in Nat Gas, this is a widowmaker and it tends to go higher and longer than most people think. Although I'm net short Nat Gas at the moment, I'm not really being shaken at here because this is an area where traders are now going to be tested on position management and risk. Because this asset is in a short squeeze mode, it still can go higher. But at some point, when you're riding a 2.5 standard deviation move, and I'll actually throw this 2.5 standard deviation band on, we've been riding the upper Bollinger Band now for several weeks. And at some point, that upper Bollinger Band mean reversion states that you stretch a rubber band too far, and eventually it's going to snap back to the other side. So that's that same rubber band theory. Obviously, this is the widowmaker. Commodities have a tendency to move higher. We saw it happen in copper. We've seen it happen in cocoa. Wheat is starting to gain momentum. Uranium has had a short squeeze. So, I mean, you look across the board and a lot of commodities have had these exceptional, extreme moves to the upside. And obviously, a lot of them have resulted in a complete collapse in price action. And obviously, I still think that natural gas is probably going to result in some sell side pressure, but you just have to admire how much this asset class is continuing to squeeze. Now, an important thing happened today in Nat Gas. We actually basically sold off. We were negative, and then the prior day low was defended with sheer buying force, which pushes up to new highs. But the important thing that I want to touch base is we actually pierced the whole psychological number of $3, getting up to a high of basically 303 on the session. So obviously, once we pierced that $3 psychological number, there were sellers. Sellers actually emerged, and in the near term, pushed price action down. So you just want to be aware of that. That's the near-term resistance. I think that on a weekly chart basis, this weekly high pivot is a very important resistance right around 311.50 because it's the last little area where Nat Gas had a look like it was having a breakout, and then it had a bearish gap down to the downside, also on a little bit of exceptional volume. That really was a kind of an outlier volume week in the overall trend here in Nat Gas. So obviously, I still think we're into a ton of resistance. I'm not really covering my short here. I'm looking to still manage the position. I still think we're probably going to get a pullback back to the daily 200 moving average here in blue. Another couple reasons why I think Nat Gas is probably in for a little bit of choppy waters here is we've got our first negative divergence on the daily chart of the RSI. RSI put in a lower low so far. Daily chart put in a higher high. You can actually see it clearly on the 4-hour chart. Basically, here's your price action putting in a higher high, and here's your RSI putting in a lower low. So whenever you start to see that and you're at extremes, just look for potential sellers to start emerging. So I still think that there's a scenario here where Nat Gas is probably going to take a consolidation dip, create a right shoulder, and then potentially test this neckline to trigger an inverse head and shoulders breakout to the upside. So again, this type of move where you've had no consolidation, it's just been day after day after day after day, is not sustainable and not really something you want to see. On that note, thank you all for tuning in. Please tune into our live stream. It's free on YouTube each and every morning to see how we're trading this asset class. And if you're interested in any other tips about this asset class, feel free to comment down below and ask any questions. Thank you all, and please give this video a like down below.